Hi. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream, and this heartbeat, it's how I've been feeling the last half hour as I've been basically hovering the mouse over the start streaming button. That's something I'm proud of. Not the first day it's happened, not the last. At least this time we started it. So yeah, we're gonna continue with the letter, which, again, maybe not what everyone wanna see, but I want to finish it really, and I want to show people it there also. I'm just sorry it's taken so long time. But yeah, last time we ended the episode, or the chapter 2 here, with Emily and Luke in an embrace, kinda happy ending, maybe. Because I later checked out other options for that chapter. I don't go further than what I myself have played, but otherwise I checked there, and holy shit, it can go very bad there. My ending seems very good, even if we had trouble with the cellar. Ooh. So I think we are Zachary now, yes. The pleasant aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint but light and warm, a reminder of what home is. Past stern but commanding gaze, Ma's tender smiles, the sunlight filtering through the eaves? Leaves, maybe? I've noticed that there can be kind of a lot of misspelling and things here in the game, but maybe eaves are a thing. I don't know. English isn't my native language, but I would say it's leaves otherwise. And a distinct smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drifts through the air every time something cooks from the room. The room, our room, Ma and Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I too, eventually. But we aren't allowed there. Oh, not yet. Not until we're taller or older, something like that. Not until we learned how to take care of ourselves, and not burn our hands or reach the cupboards without having to be lifted.
But a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
What? The floorboards are cold on my feet, more than it usually is. The walls more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma sees and Pa.
No, please wait!
What?
I'll be good! I'll sleep on time! Don't go!
Okay, here's excuse. I can hear Pa. Okay, I wasn't ready for that scream! Not above the reckless clanging and the deafening roar of gunshots. Not as screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There's only the blinding fear. When my foot slips, the red sea that catches me is bitter and frigid, but the blood that drips in my hand is warm, warm, warm. It ain't my blood. The walls tumble and everything goes quiet. It takes a few moments for everything to fall into place, for my eyes to adjust to the relative darkness of the room. This is a place we haven't been in before. I guess this is Zach's room. Despite the pleasant chill the AC brings, my shirt is clinging tightly to me, and my blanket of tangled mess around my throat. Oh, look. Remember, scrolling up does that, so stay away from the middle wheel. Morning has not even arrived, and yet...
Way too early for this thing, man.
Yeah. And too long. Too long since the last I've woken up drenched in my own sweat, head littered with thoughts that are gone as soon as my eyes open. It's not nice to wake up like that. I don't really do that. I don't read much. I mostly just stay awake until I pass out, like watching a video or something, just wait, and then fall asleep, and then suddenly it's like, wake up! And for me, I barely feel that I ever sleep, and still I sleep way too much. All too often, only imprints and brief images are left to haunt me for the rest of the day, or until my mind forgets about it. A god, whichever comes first. A god? I don't know the word, I'm sorry! Yet vivid or not, what little I can remember does matter. Regardless, the desperation sticks, clawing up, pushing, urging me to relive every moment, every sensation, and there's a twinkle in Ma's eye when she looks up from her work, floor dusting her nose and cheeks. The scent of freshly baked bread wafted from the oven as soon as Pa opens it, and the homely fragrance of honey fills the room. He reached up to wipe the small beads of sweat away from his forehead before gesturing for me to come closer. The moment he spots me on my little hiding place behind the door. I expect him to be angry, but his pat on my back when I come within his arm's reach is encouraging enough. We'll have to taste this first before we put up for sale tomorrow. You up for it, little man? Is it good enough? A knock cuts through the air before I can answer. Sharp, heavy, demanding, familiar. So distantly familiar. Ma ushers me out the kitchen when Pa moves to answer it. But I know what waits outside. The taste of blood in my mouth sends an unpleasant churning in my gut. Ma's apron crinkles under my tight grip. Something snaps back into place. Oh, did we say yet what day it is? I probably was in the corner there and I missed it there, as it started when the dream ended there with her screaming. My bed remains in an utter disarray. The walls still need a new paint job, and the wall clock ticking opposite my bed is as unsettling as ever. Yeah. I mean, I think these walls look good. Yeah. I have worse places in my room that would look like. It looks terrible some parts of the wall. Like really. Ash is right. I should have already replaced that when I had a chance.
You're no longer there, Zachary. Here and there are miles apart. Calm down. Breathe.
The pressure of my own finger against my temple is a welcome sensation over the anxiety gripping me. It never really did anything to stave off the headache, sure to follow after this before, but it grounds me. A little reminder that I'm safe, away from the place I once called home, from Ma and Pa's. The urgency with each rap that follows finally chases away the ghost threatening to hang around. Why anyone thinks it's a good idea to knock at someone else's door this late confuses me. I mean, didn't Ash usually visit you late at night or slept over, something like that? Nana would chase them all away with a broom if she was here. But no matter, it's a welcome break from the thoughts about to take a morbid turn if I left festering. It's probably just Ash anyway, looking for a place to crash. Looking for a place to crash. Wonder of wonders why he's bothering with the courtesy when he never did so before. Even with that hunch though, habit compels me to check with this first through the pee-hole. Better safe than sorry, they say. Except the person that greets me on the other side ain't him. Who is it? Unless his hair grew longer overnight and he started wearing a ponytail. Oh! It's Isabel. Was it Isabella? I remember she was complaining there that Hannah was always saying like the other way. Like, oh, it's Isabel, like, oh yeah, Isabella, of course it is, Isabella. Isabel. Which I wholly doubt will happen anytime soon, no matter how funny that looks in my head. I waste no time opening the latches. Oh. It's late. There's something I can't quite pinpoint in her eyes when she looks up. Is this directly after the office scene in chapter 1? Where we just left her under the table, and I'm not sure. We saw a lot of people in the ballroom for the party, but I don't think we actually saw Isabel. So it was always a little mystery that, like, did she survive? Did she not after that time? Let's actually go check on the journal. Where... Oh, Oh, this is the new from... Yeah, Isabel sent us on the 24th. Is it the 24th? 25 here? No? Maybe? I have no idea exactly where it is. Oh. We have new with Zachary. That was the new thing. Not a day. We don't know which day it is yet. Maybe she's about, but it must be after, because otherwise she wouldn't look like this, right? In her eyes when she looks up. Her face, a pallid shade, shoulders tense, breathing heavy, and an uncontrollable shaking in her hands as she's trying to hold back. I'm glad I don't shake any longer. I mean, not as much as least. When I was younger, I was always shaking a lot. Like, oh, I have some problem there. Like, or maybe you just don't train enough and you have no muscle to even hold your hands straight or still. Hide if I didn't know any better.
Hey, Zach. Sorry, I know it's weird for me to show up at this hour, but you are the closest to my office, and...
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm not really working on anything right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to come in?
Is it all right? I know you should be sleeping at this hour, but I thought... I'm sorry, I just thought... I have no idea why I went here. My feet just moved on their own after I got out of the office, and...
Yeah, she is searching for safety now after the ghost to visit her.
Sorry.
She trails off, her voice lost in the muggy night air. I wait for her to say more, but instead her only response is downward shift of her gaze, back to her still trembling hands, as if the motion alone is enough of an explanation. A minuscule gesture. What is that? Oh, for a moment I was thinking that maybe I had some problem here with my own computer or some background noise, but it's the AC in the game that he even mentioned before. Easy to miss though if one is not paying attention, which I missed there. She's shifting, holding her hands, everything like that. But for someone who has seen the same expression on the mirror, done the same thing too many times when the night terrors are inevitable, it is not.
Hey, don't worry about it. At least you not. Ash just barges in and crashes on the couch whenever he feels like it.
Well, I guess Isabel don't have a key, maybe.
I swear that guy is one fine hairline away from being a criminal.
Without waiting for her answer, I step away from the door and saunter over the kitchenette. For a few good seconds, only the clinking of the plates can be heard above the constant tick-tock. We don't hear the tick-tock, we hear the AC though, which is starting to get pretty irritating. Late as it may be for a snack, the familiar motion keeps me occupied, steering my mind away from dangerous thoughts. Isabel's company is not unwelcome either. Whatever her reason for showing up here at such an hour doesn't matter. I'll be damned if I just turn her away, frazzled as she is. The door clicks shut behind her when she finally enters, feet scuffling softly against the tiled floor. In all the years I know her, she has never once lost her ever upbeat spirit. Yeah, she was pretty upbeat even when she got hit in the head. Yet in this particular moment, as she stands in my doorway, holding her arms close to herself, it is as if I'm looking at someone completely withdrawn from the person I've come to know all these years.
Do you want to drink or eat anything? I haven't restocked my food stash yet, so ingredients may be a bit limited. But I'm sure I can whip something up with what I have here.
Well, that's nice. He was a good cook, right? I remember.
Just water will do, please.
Oh.
Thanks, Zach.
What? No additional food requests? That's new. I'll put something together for you anyway.
No.
Feel free to make yourself at home. You ain't exactly a new visitor here. Although my room's not at its most presentable right now. Sorry. New freelance gigs and such. Didn't have time to fix things up here lately.
Oh.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Usually you should have something more to say about that. A quip, a witty remark to provoke a laughter or two. Nothing from her this time. Only a weak smile before she takes a seat on the couch and a silence that stretches out until what we left hanging feels disconnecting. Before everything turns stifling and awkward, I continue talking if only to keep the dead air at bay. How's one supposed to keep a conversation going when the person you're talking to is like this? I mean, I would be quiet with them and basically be like, sure, have a show they cry about or something here. I know you want to talk about something but you're scared a little bit, but you'll come around to it, right? But that's me.
Anyway, Gigs.
Zachary is more talkative and more nice, I guess. Yeah. Although that's all I get, like, okay, can you describe me in one word? Nice. Okay. If two words, nice and nice. Why?
Can you believe this one client we got?
Huh?
Boss had all my scheduled shoots shifted after they caught wind of this couple buying a new property.
Ooh.
Man, must be nice to have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
The world itself moves for you, huh?
Oh, come on. She curled up on one side of the couch and hugging her knees close when I bring the tray carrying the sandwich and the water she requested. She starts to straighten up as I unloading the contents, but pauses as soon as I hold up my hand in a halting gesture.
You're a guest. Didn't I say you're free to make yourself at home? Here's your water. Careful.
The tremor in her hands, though, lighten out. Still has found. Ow, 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 ow. What I get for not speaking daily. Being quiet so often, it doesn't really help. Yeah, ow. Ouch. The tremor in her hands, though lighter now, still hasn't subsided when she reaches out for the glass. I give her a questioning look. I don't know how to give looks at any kind, really. But she's quick to avert her eyes, keeping herself occupied by taking small gulps of water. Or maybe she just doesn't want me asking questions. Worrying. This sudden loss of word, this bout of quiet not normally present in our chats. Even the creaking of the old chair when I casually take the seat is a welcome break. Although this company is familiar, this has gone way past unnerving. I mean, what's happened the other couple of days that you met her? She's been freaking out about these ghosts, right? You talked to her about her, so you should know.
What happened? Overtime at work?
She doesn't answer immediately, although gulp drains a glass of its remaining contents. One would think it would be enough to help her recover, yet she doesn't lose her taut grip on the glass as she cradles it on her lap. Her eyes takes on an unfocused gaze when she speaks again.
Yeah.
Huh?
Boss handed me extra work today. After what happened to Rose.
Rose. Why do I feel like you've mentioned her before? Sorry, I'm better with remembering faces than names.
She was my coworker.
Yeah.
That will take some getting used to. I was just talking to her the other day.
Was? Did she resign or something? I think I'm missing a few details here, Bella.
She did.
You've never met her. I think I did mention her once or twice. It doesn't matter. You probably heard her name recently from the news than me.
Something clicks then. A little memory from the night before. The bright red light from the dark room. The strong odor of the stop bath. The television barely audible murmur in the background. And a glimpse of a bloody room. The news is everywhere, even in the morning that follows. I just didn't think its effect will strike someone this close to me. Yeah, you never really think that.
Oh. Damn. I didn't mean to bring that up.
I mean, that could be kind of also what she needs here. That's a little part of the problem why she is like this. You need to talk things through, otherwise you can't really get over it. I mean, you can also just ignore it and put you behind you and then it caught up and you become like that again and then it comes behind you and then come catches up.
No,
you know?
like I said, it'll take some getting used to, but it'll get better. I hope it will.
Yeah.
Things might become a little busier for me, though.
Yeah,
She left a lot of things unfinished. And I'm one of the few people in the office who knows how she works. Boss thinks the transition will be easier if I handle it.
That explains it. Well, just don't forget you still need rest. Even the most hard-working people I know don't keep hours as late as this.
Yeah.
Hell, the subway stopped running hours ago. Crime rate might be lower here than most places, but that doesn't mean you can walk around freely in the middle of the night.
Depends, I guess. Crime rate is even a lot lower here than there. I'm around at the middle of the night every night. Work, you know.
It's just for today.
Still a good thing you dropped by here first. I'm not just about to let you walk out here alone, especially not in the middle of the night. Who knows what else could happen? I'm not saying you should go right now, but I could accompany you home if you...
No! Wait, please!
She doesn't want to be alone. The vehement tension in her voice makes me pause, and it's in this instant the mask she's been keeping up falls apart, if only for a short while. Right then and there I understood what was hiding behind her unfocused stare from the moment she arrived. Fear. You talked about it before, like, this is how she is, like you yourself are right after the night terrors and all that, and first now you realize, oh wait, she's scared of something. Pure, unadulterated fear. It's disturbing to see such marring her usual upbeat countenance. With her sigh I cross the small distance separating us and kneel in front of her. She doesn't flinch when I do so. However, the way she appears to make herself smaller against the couch is telling enough.
Bella, this ain't just about your coworker, is it? What is it really about? I'm all ears.
Yeah. Wait! The sound of glass shattering rents through the air as soon as her hold on it loosens. What? He kneeled down in front of her basically there, like, and in my mind it was basically holding her hands or something. So I'm a little unsure how the glass, I don't know. In the span of a few seconds, her breathing grows labor.
I don't know anymore.
She claps her hands over her ears, pressing it tightly against the sides of her head. Her voice grows weaker with each word, each plea coming out of her mouth.
Please don't leave me alone. I don't want to be alone right now.
Understandable. You'll see the ghosts.
I can't shake it off. Everywhere's not safe and...
Alright, Isabella. Look at me.
Yeah? My hands are firm on her shoulders when I pull her up to look at me. It takes every force of will to ignore the terror in her eyes, in favor of taking control of the situation. Really? I feel always like, if that's happening, something like, okay, they're freaking out, I am able to have control. If they even the slightest calm, I freak out. But if everyone else is freaking out, somehow I'm able to have a little grip of the situation. Yeah. Too close, too similar.
Breathe. You're safe here. Inhale, hold, exhale. Stay in the present.
Okay.
I'm here. No one's gonna hurt you.
No one's gonna hurt you. Except the ghost in the mirror.
Do you want to talk about it?
The force with which she shakes her head is enough reason to drop the topic altogether.
No more. Please. No more. I don't want to remember anymore.
Kate, no more talking. I won't ask any more. Can I get you anything? Another glass of water? I think I have a tub of that pistachio ice cream you love so much. We're gonna have to clean this mess first. Will you be fine on your own for a little while?
She nods slightly before retreating into herself again. No more words are exchanged after that, and I take that as my cue to start cleaning the shards littering the floor before either one of us get hurt. The quiet hum of the AC is very irritating for everyone watching and listening to the game at the moment. It's a pleasant distraction as... No, it's not pleasant. As I go over the menial task. more so than her ragged draws of breath or my little feeble attempts to tell a quick story or two. But the later does the trick. As soon enough, she has already drifted off by the time I return with a promised glass of water. Her chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm, the strain on her shoulders gone. Frankly, I've never seen her this still. Yeah, usually she's a bundle of joy and energy and just jumping around. Like, she bouncing up the walls again. Oh, and I'm looking like a fool again. Oh, she mumbles something I don't quite catch when I carry her to the empty bed and hugs herself tighter against the mess of blankets. In spite of the fact that she appears relaxed, the small frown on her face hasn't quite disappeared. Whatever happened to her won't be leaving her anytime soon. But for her sake, I hope it won't stay long with her. There are still questions left to be answered. But the late hour, coupled with the sudden exhaustion, made my old couch a more comfortable bed than it typically is. Oh. Yeah, October 25, so I guess that was the night 24 to 25. I wonder, a bit of me expected Ash to also come in here like, yeah, I'm crashing here tonight and Bella! Darkness immediately welcomed me as soon as my head hits my makeshift pillow. I can only wish the dreams will keep at a distance for now. For both of us. Ghost stream. Well, good. No ghost stream. The first few notes, while muffled, are enough to wake me. In the end, it became one of those nights when sleep passes like a blink and is played with vague, fuzzy thoughts. I lift a hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eye, although it does little to relieve the gritty burning sensation from my eyelids. Outside, the sun has yet to peek over the horizon, but night has already given way to the cool morning light, washing everything in subtle grey hues. At this hour, the entire city remains unstirring. Ordinarily, waking up before my own alarm means abusing the snooze button twice or thrice just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep that are so much better than all those other hours. Like, those care about them, but those 5 extra minutes of just drifting in and out of sleep. Wonderful, wonderful sleep. But the persistent ring makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
Groggily, I scramble for the bag sitting at the front of the foot of the bed. What? I can't read up at all. Front of the door. It's foot of the bed. Oh. The ringing still hasn't stopped even as I fish the phone out, and Ashton's name flashes brightly on the screen when I turn it on. Decline? Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call yet. I mean, maybe he's looking for Bella, like, Bella isn't here, where is she?
Took you long enough, Z-Man.
Oh, right. Z-Man.
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. The sun hasn't even risen. Hell,
Why?
my brain ain't even awake yet. Stop calling me Z-Man.
It's 20 past 6, Zach.
Wait. I thought Ash wasn't a morning person. I'm like certain of it. Like he was totally out of it around 9? Hasn't he gone to bed yet? Is that why?
You want to talk? Give me back my 5 extra minutes, Ash. I want my sleep.
Oh.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I can be a more person too if I want to.
What's this all really about? You don't usually make calls around this hour.
Yeah.
Is the world ending today?
Sorry about that. Becca rang me up a few minutes ago looking for Isabella. Said she didn't show up in her own apartment last night. We both tried calling, but her phone seems to be off.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea where...
I should have known you two would come looking for her first thing in the morning.
Not a laughing matter, Zach. You can't really let your guard down with everything that's happened here recently. You've heard about the Cooper woman from the news. Everyone in the precinct has been restless ever since the incident the other day.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Listen, Ash, about Bella.
She shared my bed tonight. Or she had it all to herself. I let my voice trail off, unsure of how to go about recounting last night. If I should even say anything to him. He might be a close friend, but at the end of the day, whatever is bothering her ain't mine to speak of in the first place. You should still say something is bothering her. She needs help right now, okay? We all need to gather up together and try and help her, even if you don't want to talk to it, like, maybe walk on eggshells around. No, I don't know. On the bed, Isabella remains as still as when I transferred her the night before. Sometime during her sleep, she pulls up a blanket over herself and tucked into it comfortably. Like this, it's easy to forget the horror in her eyes, or how much her hands and lips trembled. Save for a firm grip on the edge of the covers, she appears nearly as normal as she would any other day. Almost.
I'm not really sure how to go about this while being...
Zach, what about her?
Something, the worry, the concern must have surfaced in my tone, because his own shifted. Carefully, as if he's preparing for the worst.
Look, you don't have to worry about her. She's with me right now. Since last night, in fact.
Oh.
What?
Why didn't you just say so earlier?
She kinda knocked in the middle of the night. I couldn't possibly wake you two over that. And with how things are when she arrived, I thought it'd be best if I let her rest first. I just wasn't expecting people would be looking for her before the rooster even crows.
You could have at least called her something. Becca's beside herself with worry when she found out. You know how much she frets about the smallest stuff.
Yeah, but we wouldn't really expect her to worry that. She's been gone for 4 hours in the middle of the night, okay? But still, why would Becca be at her apartment at any of these times?
I know. I'm sorry. That was a lapse on my part. And I just didn't think, okay, you know what? Rebecca's worries ain't completely baseless. Isabella hasn't been her usual self since the movie. Maybe even before that.
Yeah, she was really worried about the black in Britain. Oh, yeah. How did the title go for the movie? It was French there, I think, also, but was the horror of the black people in British Victorian England? Really fancy title, like one of those movies that you probably should watch and probably mean a lot, and you like, oh, I understand the horrors now, and something like that. And the cat heard that I'm awake, because I'm talking, and therefore he needs to come in. You're not allowed in, okay? Oh, I'm pretty sure I didn't touch it, but okay. Yeah,
I don't know if I should be opening my mouth about this, but Bella didn't outright say I shouldn't, so...
Yeah, she didn't say anything because she's filled with terror.
So something's wrong then?
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. I couldn't get the story out of her.
Really? I thought you'd learned something from me by now.
That's not it. Ash, when she appeared at my doorstep last night, she was shaking, and when I tried to ask her about it, she just panicked. Had this frightened look on her face.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if this was the first time I've seen it, but it ain't. Dude, the first time, she was screaming.
First time? When was this? You weren't talking about the thing in the movie house, are you? Because that was just us fooling around. Granted, I think I went overboard with the joke, but...
What?
No, it happened the day after. When she invited us to lunch, you weren't there.
Alright, that in the streets.
We were walking 1 second, and then the next, she's crying out.
Yeah.
I'll be straight with you. That scared me shitless.
It scared me shitless when the girl suddenly was there in the mirror window. Not a mirror at that time, a window. Just the shopping window. Like, what the hell, why is she there? It bothered him if the way he falls silent after his telling. But whatever his opinion is, stays absent from his voice when he speaks again. He's always been good with that, hiding what he thinks.
Did she say anything else?
Nothing. Won't tell me anything aside from a few vague words. I didn't want to push it.
Yeah,
Where is she? Is she still sleeping?
yeah, of course.
Right here with me, still sleeping. Should I wake her up or something? Let her know you guys are looking for her?
No need. Let her rest. I'll drop by in a few.
Yeah, I thought so.
Today? Don't you have work at this time? I mean, I can drop her off home myself before meeting my client later.
Look who's talking.
My schedule's flexible, Ash. Last time I checked, you're the one who didn't have that luxury. How on earth do you think I'm able to tag along when you need me?
It's not completely out of the way.
They live on the other side of the town from you, Ash. Your definition of out of the way is a little screwed up, you know.
It's fine. I have some things I need to do anyway. I'll call you back. I've got to let Becca know that Scared Cat's fine. Bye.
Bye. He drops the call before I can even get a word in, and for several minutes after, I find myself simply listening as the rest of Luxembourg rouses. The increasing sound of passing traffic, the bustle of the nearby shops, preparing for the day, and the growing clamor of the people while they go about their morning. Not the most soothing sound to hear following a troubled night, but the routine puts me at ease nevertheless. What's comforting, what's safe, what I'm used to. Nearby, Isabella shifts but doesn't wake, blissfully unaware as the city slowly stirs itself back to life. Was her night as restless as the one I had? Were her dream as lucid? In hush moment like this, I envy her. Unreasonable, probably a little unfair to say such in light of last night. If only forgetting is as easy as breathing. A small yawn escapes me when I rise from the couch to stretch. Luckily, the short conversation with Ash has effectively driven away any will to go back to bed. I still have a day to get through, despite the proverbial ghost hanging around. Oh, the orange bottle sitting at the edge of my table is reassuring against my palm the instant I pick it up, the sterile odor of the capsule equally so. Yet the weight they carry is something I never gotten used to. Years ago, I spent minutes, heck even hours staring at a single pill, prior to taking one in. Now, it's just a routine, a way to stave off the unwanted nightly visits. Although I don't think Dr. Navarro will be quite pleased if he ever finds out I'm relying on them again. I do owe him a visit regardless, especially after missing our appointment on purpose and ignoring his calls for weeks. Oh. That's not good, Zack. But I did something very similar. Yeah. That's good. Another sigh comes out, tired and weary, and then I pop the tablet into my mouth.
Zack? What time is it?
6:30 maybe? Has it gone 10 minutes? Has it gone more? I don't know. The bottle on my hand hits the table with more force than necessary. As much as I trust my friends, there is something I rather keep to myself. Yeah, understandable. But holy shit, you kept it together there before, like... And so we get into Zack, and directly it's like... What is happening? And more, and then Isabella comments, still then back to Zack, and it's more and more like... Oh, shit.
Morning, Bella. Did you sleep well?
She answered the question with a long drawn-out yawn. One reminiscent of a child. I chuckle and manage to come out of my mouth at the sight. In this manner, it's easy to mistake her for someone too young for responsibilities. I mean, yeah. It was that also early too. I'm looking at her like this, like, yeah. Inexperienced and immature even. Easy to forget she was thrust into the role of an adult earlier than her own dreams can afford. To overlook how surprisingly observant she can be at times. Yeah. Maybe not on the same level Ash exercises for his investigations or Rebecca needs for her own work, but it's certainly enough to definitely put what she sees around her own canvas. And if the way her eyes flickers to the table and my hands says something, it is that I won't be able to avoid a question this time.
Only a little. I don't remember how I ended up on the bed, though.
Have you looked at Zack? Like, look at Zack there. He's a head taller. There. On that swimming suit. He's the one furthest back. He's like... clearly a lot further back than the other also there. And still, he's a head taller than the back row. And all those muscles, like. And you don't... You look like I could carry you, and I can't carry anything. So, yeah.
My doing.
Yeah.
You didn't look very comfortable sleeping on the couch, all hunched up like that.
It would have been enough for something temporary. Sorry I stole your bed.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Besides, what kind of gentleman would I be if I leave a lady sleeping in such uncomfortable conditions? Not in this house. My nana will give me a tough scolding if I ever did that, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Zach. I know I barged in at a very inconvenient time last night. I wasn't really thinking when I did, and...
Hey, it's cool, Bella. I ain't mad at you. That's what friends do. You guys are welcome here anytime.
I wish I had friends.
Although Ashton abuses the anytime part a lot, I don't really mind.
Yeah.
We might have less wiggle room if all four of us are present, considering the size of this place. But as long as no one makes anything explode, it's totally fine.
Yeah, sure. Let's just invite the ghost.
Fine
So
or
then-
not, I still owe you one for last night's trouble. Especially since you don't seem to be...
A concerned expression passes over her features as she spares another cursory glance over the table, back to the bottle, holding a small, ever small piece of what keeps the bad memories at bay. The blood blooming over Pa's heart, the horrified look on Ma's face as she watches him fall, lifeless to the ground, and every ounce of spite seeping from the strangest smile. You don't belong here. You monkeys don't belong here. It never stops, doesn't it?
Well, you don't seem to be feeling well.
The way it sounds, it's his normal day. Like, yeah, don't feel well. It's a part of everyone's everyday, isn't it? Who always feels well?
Let me know, okay? I'll make it up to you somehow.
She makes a slight gesture with her head towards the bottle, asking a question without really asking. Subtlety has never been one of her greatest assets, but right now, even Ash would have been a little amazed if not at loss for word at that. She has left it up to me whether I'll ever give her the response she wants to hear or not. Probably also like, well, I tell you about this bottle if you tell me what last night was really about. A little clever coming from her, if anyone would ask. Play it off or tell the truth? Like, what would he play it off as? I mean, she would still then be worried that it is something, maybe. But then maybe she won't rely on me as much because, oh, I don't wanna worry you. No, I'll tell the truth that maybe I'm not always perfect, okay? Oh, but it's never easy, ain't it? How did it go? Did I? Better with ill, Bella, yeah! Oh, did I? I think there's been maybe an update since last time, so sure. Add a plus mark now. And we still have a lot extra with Hannah even though we haven't met her yet. Because of the last chapter with Hannah. She likes Zachary. And Zachary likes her back. Yeah, never easy. Talking about my own problems, that is. It will never be. Not by a long shot. Not when I have let it stay this way for so long. I realized that long ago when the wounds are still fresh and the dreams are a nightly occurrence. Can't force yourself to get better or move on to better things. You can try to force yourself. Again, try that. It is what's normal now and I can only cope. The question in her eyes may be unwarranted, born simply out of curiosity and sincere concern for a friend. I don't owe her an explanation in fact. But of all people I keep close in my life, she probably one of the very few who perhaps I can trust with this. Maybe she won't understand entirely. I can never hope she will. No, never to the full extent. That alone is expecting too much of her. giving too much of what I can. However, for all her shortcomings, I know she'll hear me out. And that is all I can ask of her.
My bad. I was kinda hoping you wouldn't have seen me with these.
The pills rattle lightly against the container when I gently set it back to its usual place. Always the small area closest to my laptop, near the right hand, within reach whenever, and a quiet reminder of what I shouldn't miss every day.
What? Oh, is it bad? I was just thinking that maybe it's a cold like Becca's. Do you need me to get anything from the store? Soup or something? There's one nearby, right?
Bella.
I can run real quick and...
Oh, Bella.
No, nothing of that sort. I'm perfectly healthy right now. It's really difficult to say, but can you promise me you'll listen at least?
What is this about, Zach?
I should have been upfront with you about this a long time ago. But Ashton found out without me telling him anything. But you already know how that guy is. Can't hide anything from him.
If it's something you're having trouble saying, you don't have to force yourself to tell me. I'll forget I ever saw anything and won't ask questions. Promise.
Oh.
No, I need to get this
You're
off
so
my chest
sweet.
eventually. Besides, we're already here. Might as well finish what I started, yeah?
Yeah, besides, if I open up here, maybe I can make you open up to the ghost about me so we can save you and us all. Maybe.
If you say so.
She takes a seat on the couch, her posture easy and open, and a smile honest. As if this is just a simple talk between two friends on a regular day. It is far from one, but her unreserved air is enough to stamp down the twinge of unease that threatens to come up.
Let's hear it then.
Oh, feels like yesterday. And she does. True to her words, she listened while the story spills out of my mouth, of my ma and pa, the little old diner across the pond, and what it left in me that day. I can't recall most of it now. My own account jagged with a few missing details here and there. The passing years have eroded most of my recollection of the whole incident. All except for that one moment in the kitchen. The ringing of gunshots are as vivid as it sounded that day. Even Ma's hysterical scream the moment Pa's body hits the floor, motionless, his lifeblood flowing out from under him. And the gunman, he was smiling. He was smiling when Pa opened the door to welcome him. He was smiling when he put a bullet to Pa's chest and Ma's head. I heard the stories of how the world can be a cruel place for people like us before. I never believed until that moment.
Nan and Gran took us right after that. Sis and I flew straight to New Jersey as soon as they heard the news. A few days after, Mom and Pa were laid to rest. And we have a new home a continent away. I didn't even get the chance to take my favorite pillow with me.
Oh,
They said something about the change of environment will be good for us. They had no idea the different kind of ghosts would follow me here.
I expected questions, most of those brimming with childlike curiosity, and maybe some that are a little too hard to answer. But her critic just sat there, lent her ears, and looked at me with no expectation or unnecessary judgment in her eyes. She appears so wise or another like this, easiest to see as the breadwinner in her. Her youngest siblings are lucky to have her. When I'm done after everything's been said, she wraps her arms around me, a bit awkward considering the gap in our heights, but it gets a sentiment across. But it's difficult to answer this in kind, if I'm even supposed to reciprocate the gesture given my earlier apprehension. She pulls away shortly with a smile on her face. Not the reaction I brace myself for, but it's obviously better than what I imagined.
Are you not gonna say anything?
Am I supposed to say anything after? Like, apologize or something? I don't think that's very appropriate, but if you want to hear one, I can think of something real quick.
Not really. Other people have something to say after usually. And they're not necessarily nice either.
Oh, okay then. I won't. I can't think of something anyway. Sorry, I'm not very good with this. Who else knows, by the way?
My older sister, grandparents, and just Ash and you for now. Maybe I think I should tell Rebecca too, but...
Yeah, I mean, if we have this little group of Bella, Ash, Zack, and Rebecca, and everyone except Rebecca knows, it's gonna come out sooner or later, and it's not gonna be good maybe then, like, you all have a secret for me, what is it? No.
But not right now?
Yeah, not right now. When I'm ready. Like today.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be willing to hear you out once you do.
I don't doubt she will. I'm more afraid of how she'll react after. One step at a time, yeah? Whew. Surprisingly, it feels good to get that one out my chest. I was a little afraid you'd be angrier. I didn't tell you earlier than today.
I'm not angry. I'm just surprised. You didn't look like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have suspected.
Neither did I.
I suppose that's how it often is, isn't it? We all have our... what's the word Becca uses? Inner demons?
Yeah, everyone got their
But
demons.
this is something personal to you. I understand why you'd rather have a few people know.
That too. Well, these past few weeks haven't been easy for you. I didn't want to add that. Not after last night.
Yeah, but I felt like maybe we open up, she can open up back to us. Something passes in her face. Brief, fleeting, and disappears right before I can recognize what it is.
You okay?
Yep, no worries. I'll be fine.
Aw.
Look, about last night.
Yeah?
Never mind. This isn't a good time.
No, please, tell us.
But don't lose sleep over this, alright? What's important is you got what you want to say out. And if you need me, I'll be here.
I need you to tell me about the ghost. I should be relieved. Her words are more than reassuring to my ears. There should be comfort in hearing those alone, in knowing I have another person to rely on if things ever go bad. But somehow I find myself worrying more for her instead. I make another attempt to get the story out of her if I can. But this is a dance I know all too well, and with her, I doubt forcing her to say something would yield any result. As much as I want to imitate Ash, there's only so much I can ask that won't result in something a little over disastrous. At best, she stopped talking to me until a week passes. At worst, I rather not risk it. I never seen her angry. Outright annoyed, maybe, and often directed at Ash, but never furious. What do they say again about happiest people when angry? Besides, it'd be unfair to her after our little chat.
So, food then?
She seemed relieved at the brisk change of subject, and as it has been simply waiting for its cue all this time, his stomach rumbled at the mention of food. Rather loudly as a matter of fact.
Alrighty, Missy. We're going to get some chow now. Better be quick though. Can't have your stomach starting a revolution on us here.
Don't make fun of me! I'm not that hungry! Maybe a little. I didn't think I'd end up skipping dinner last night.
And now we have one starved stomach protesting. Sorry, it'll be nothing fancy, since I'm a little low on stocks. I should probably drop by the grocery store after the meeting this afternoon.
I can make a quick run for you if you want.
Nah, I've got enough to put together something nice here. Maybe. I could always improvise if we're missing an ingredient or two. It ain't like we're going for a Michelin 3-star status here. Also, didn't I say you're a guest? Is this a Filipino thing? Or just Rebecca rubbing off on you?
Well, the soft laughter that comes from her doesn't quite reach her eyes. Neither. The answer is neither. Because if she stays idle, she will
On
remember.
second thought, I might need a little help slicing up the potatoes while I prep the ham. You up for that?
What? Do you think instant noodles are all I'm about?
Yeah.
I'll have you know I can cook a mean paella with my eyes closed. All my siblings love it.
I don't know what a paella is. Sorry.
Sure you can. Come on. I think I know what we'll do with those spare ingredients.
Despite the massive effort to keep the mood light with small chatter, cooking ends up being a mostly quiet affair. Between us, the consistent clapping and the knives against the board and the muffled noise from the television I left running, words have become surprisingly difficult to string together. Not entirely unusual. We had a moment like this before, but definitely unnerving with how things are now. I really wish someone else will come knocking at the door. Q for Ashton! Ashel. No? As pleasant as this is, breaking the ice or keeping a conversation going has never been my forte. It has always been Isabella's or Rebecca's department. Sometimes Ash, although most coming from him bordered on awkward or embarrassing, or secrets coming out in the open that were supposed to be kept sacred. Speaking of the guy, he never did call back, and I am willing to bet my entire yearly salary that he fell right back to sleep after the call. Oh. There he is!
Sorry, Bella, could you...
Yep, I got it. The potatoes are almost ready, by the way. I turned down the heat just in case. You might want to check on them, though. Hold on, I'll be right there. Sheesh, wait up. If you keep rapping at the door like that, you'll break it down. Ash.
Oh, good. You're awake.
Oh, what? Ash has already welcomed himself in when I take my eyes away from Davin. I mean, this is his home away from home, right? No? He's never been really keen with the notion of courtesy after he's warmed up to you, this guy. All 13 of my locks he broke can attest to that. Oh. He just breaks the lock? That seems very mean. He's a good fellow though. Maybe a tad bit standoffish at first glance, but he's trustworthy.
Don't you have work today?
I could ask the same of you. Hey, Izzy, man.
Yeah, hey Ashel.
You're late. Something came up? You need to drop the Z-Man, it's getting old.
Sorry, I got caught up with something at the precinct on the way here. Had to attend to that first before things got out of hand. I'd tell you about it, but you know how it can be with those kinds of things. Later, maybe.
And you're here because...
What? I'm not allowed to say hello?
I doubt you're here because of that. And you're not answering my question.
Ah, my bad. Forgot to mention that. He called earlier looking for you. Rebecca's worried because you didn't come home last night.
You could have called my cell instead.
You weren't picking up. Anyway, I'd really hate to cut this little get-together short, but I need to be somewhere else. Come on, Isabella, let's get you home. I'll drop you off on the way.
Wait, we're going now?
He lightly claps a hand on her arm and begins ushering her out of the apartment, throwing a casual wave at me as they pass. Isabella, on the other hand, doesn't appear too fond of the idea. And sure enough, before they can even cross the threshold, she puts a firm foot down, the force alone enough to halt them both and catch the taller man off guard. It would have made for a funny picture. The way Ash almost crashes into her and Isabella giving him an indignant pout of her shoulder. Surprise and confusion are in his face all at once. Two things that rarely ever grace it, if he can help it. A rare moment, even for our small group. If only I have my camera with me. Dang! I mean, it's right there.
What is it?
Zach cooked something.
If it's just food, I'll get you something on the way back.
But the food! It's Zach's cooking! Real delicious food that actually tastes like food. At least stay and have a bite, please. Zach, help me here!
These two, whenever they're in the same room, sometimes it feels like herding a group of unruly kids instead of talking to two mature adults. One moment they engage in a pleasant chit-chat, and the next day bickering over a minor issue. Frankly, if I didn't know any better and I have an overreactive imagination, I say there's something going on. It's the anime thing, it's going on, but neither of them is really aware of it. It might end up in the end, who knows. Never mind how utterly impossible that idea is. Why is it impossible? Or it might just be me reading too much into things like always. I can already hear Ash laughter if I so much as suggest such. Yeah, you'll probably get that expression that you wanted for the camera. This, however, I cooked up a feast. I know you're busy. I know you're busy will be like. He'll get how you want, they go away probably earlier. We get his reputation up. And I cooked up a feast, it gets her. I try to make them stay a little longer. I cooked up, I mean, I know he's busy, but Chat, help! There's no one here, right? Nope, completely empty. I thought so. I have to fix this myself. Can I check here, like? Ashton. I mean, we already have plus on Isabella, right? Maybe? And if they are alone, maybe something happened? She asked for help also though. I feel like this probably have no interference on everything ever, and therefore it's like so hard to... Sure, I cooked up a feast.
I don't know about you two, but I think you guys should really stay. I've already made enough food for all of us, and it'd be a waste.
Oh, it increased Ashton too, right? I guess it would have increased more with Ashton and less with Isabella, but still plus on both. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be a waste on the food though.
Why, I cooked up that special honey glazed ham you two keep on yapping about. Got some scalloped potatoes with onions and cheddar to go with it too.
Ooh. Cheese on the potatoes. I mean, I've seen polenta with fries and gravy and cheese and all that and tasted that, and it's like too much at the same time, but just a little there on fried potatoes right with onion. I need to try that. It sounds really nice. The entire merdings. I shoot the two of them an apologetic look before sauntering over the kitchen, mittens in hand. The sweet smell of the glaze and the salty tang of melted cheese waft through the air as soon as I open the door and take out the two trays inside. The scent immediately fills the entire room, and even with the door and the windows open, the mouth-watering aroma lingers. Oh! If I had something whatsoever ready, we would probably turn this stream over to real life and social eating, whatever, something like that. Yeah. They're appealing enough that when I put the dishes down on the counter, another starved stomach protested loudly, followed by a burst of laughter. My head snaps up as the two of them, and I can't keep back the smile at the sight they make. Isabella is clinging to the doorframe for support, double over with breathless laughter. Ash is the more composed of the two, trying to look unconcerned, but a flush has crept up his neck and cheeks. It's clear whose stomach that came from, and Isabella's not going to let him live this down.
You're in no place to reject an offer of free food, Frey.
I wasn't rejecting anything.
Oh.
Damn it, I just missed a meal, that's all.
Aw, he's flustered.
Shut it! Those guys at the precinct said it was urgent. Somebody has to be responsible for it.
Well, aren't you precious?
Right. You know, if you keep laughing like that, you'll burst.
I'm sure it won't be as bad as your stomach suddenly rumbling like a starved.
Aye, kiddos, play nice. Food's gonna get cold if we keep this up. Ash, you gonna stay?
Might as well, since Scaredy Cat's so hell-bent on staying.
Oh, a meal all together. Oh, this was nice, rather than him being alone with the pills or something. That's probably the picture that would happen. We eventually settle down after the food has been served. The yips replaced by another round of friendly chatter, mostly about what's on the news the night before. There is, however, a conscious effort to avoid mentioning what's currently on the headlines. The dead is never a good topic to talk over food and polite company. This case in particular. Oh. It's so nice! I want this. The wounds are too fresh. fresh too soon. Too soon? No way! Well, I like to avoid it as well if I were in her position, and someone I personally knew passed away in a gruesome manner like that. Though perhaps the closest we got to broaching the topic is when the infamous mansion is brought up again. But even then we are careful, Ash and I. We kept the conversation light and avoid bringing up her late business partner. It's the least we could do.
The Wrights? Yeah, they're planning to move in soon. In fact, they already have a housewarming party planned.
Yep.
It's why they wanted us to rush the papers. They wanted to send the invitations out as soon as possible.
Oh, now I get it.
Get what?
Remember what I told you last night about the new clients?
Vaguely? Sorry. I was a little out of it yesterday.
Yeah, you were.
Was it the photo shoot?
Yep, it's actually for the one you sold. Something.
Grade
You
Mansion.
put it that way, I suppose it makes sense why my boss wants me to prioritize the couple. They can have those documents rushed at just a snap of their fingers. And they're more influential than I initially thought. Man, I guess my boss is expecting a lot more from this project than I expected. Hope I can live up to it.
I mean, yeah, you did a good job.
Your photographs are more than good enough, Zach. You'd probably win an international award if you let yourself. Ma'am Hana's easy to please, too. As long as you're good at following instructions.
Yeah, it wasn't with the flirting though. Like, no,
Easier
you
said
can't
than
do
done.
this.
Different clients have different tastes after all.
Still, a week? I don't think that's possible.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah. They wanted everything finished at the earliest. To be honest, it's not unheard of, but
But it's still weird.
Fishy.
Still weird, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, you're just also investigating them, which is why you were at the mansion there. I'm sure of it! Inspector Detective. Was that? I think that was his title, something there, like double like. I didn't really know about this. I think it's a title that isn't existing any longer really, and it's like Detective or Inspector, but he had the fancy title of Inspector Detective. Yeah. A slip of the tongue. Still barely noticeable to someone who's already familiar with Ash ways. Yet in this moment, it's impossible to miss. I shoot him a curious glance, but he ignores it. Rather pointedly.
I can't exactly say it's like that, where I'm just the middleman after all. As much as I want to comment on it, I only know what's on the surface, not the in and outs.
Yeah. It's also because he investigated them that I first thought that Luke was maybe a mass murderer of some kind of serial killer. That's the more correct term, right? But then it was actually alcoholic. Maybe he killed someone on the side also, but maybe it's just the ghost. And he isn't the not the Ashton Butcher, the Luxembourg Butcher? I don't know.
It's just that BRC and my boss are more hands-on with the legal stuff this time, despite having a separate department dedicated to it.
Maybe Mr. Wright helped with it too. They have their own legal team for this, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, they should have one. Especially for a big property like this.
They have, but like I said, it's off our hands. Rose and I don't handle this stuff in the office. If anything, to me, this just means I'll be able to send the rest of the funds to Papa's treatment earlier.
Yeah.
I guess that makes a whole lot of sense. Officially off our instant noodle diet, aren't we?
Ash, has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny way of ruining the mood?
What? I was just saying. A few more months of stuffing your face with those, and I'm sure you'll start to look like a noodle cup.
Oh.
That's a pretty picture.
At least I don't live off convenience store food. Or make poor, unassuming pressure cookers explode.
What? How did you...
None of them seem very good with the food whatsoever. Instant noodle. I mean, the worst diet that I had was homemade bread that I did like from only flour, salt, and water that was in college there. And it wasn't that I didn't have money for it. It was one of my deepest part of the depression there before I had to move back to Sweden. Was in the States there, and like, what do I have? I have flour, I have water, I have salt, more or less. I think there was something rising there, maybe some yeast. No, I don't think there was any yeast. Maybe a little bit of sugar. There. So I made bread, fresh bread there that then I ate until it got stale, basically. Made 3 lumps. Limp? A limp? Is that right? I don't know. Bread roll? Loaf! A bread loaf! A full loaf. Or 3 full loaf. And 8. Just ate that. Don't know how it compares to instant noodles.
Oh, come on, Zach!
Yeah. But usually I try to eat more correctly, otherwise you go down a bad route. Like, keep a healthy body, keeping everything good and everything. Or at least it is a little better in the mind also.
Sorry, it just came up while we were cooking earlier.
I'm impressed, Ashton Frey. You even made it to the news.
A one-time thing. And it wasn't as big as you seem to be imagining.
Oh, sure. Let's all pretend that one time you almost set my apartment on fire didn't happen too.
Hey, that was an accident.
You were making a salad, Ash.
What? Huh? What? There isn't anything you should cook directly in a salad if I... Okay, maybe a Caesar salad that has bacon in it actually.
Can we please move on to a different topic?
It helps the casual talk, the harmless teasing, the mundane stories interesting enough to let time pass unnoticed. By the time lunch ends, wait. What happened with the morning? It was 6 o'clock in the morning. He cooks and suddenly it's lunchtime. By the time lunch ends, the shadows are no longer at the forefront of my mind. It is the same for Isabella, for whatever troubles her, I can never tell. These things, the anxiety, the fear, they ain't easily seen. It ain't easily forgotten after all.
You go on ahead. I've got a few things I need to ask Zach.
Okay.
I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Confusion briefly flashes in her eyes as she catches the keys he tossed over, but he doesn't give her an answer and waves for her to go ahead.
How sure are you I won't be driving away with your Shirley?
You don't even have a license. Do you even know how to?
Papa taught me how. I'm probably a better driver than you.
Oh, that face.
See you later, Zach. Thanks for the food.
See you, Bella.
Always has to have the last word, don't you?
You're welcome. I'll send you the recipe for the potatoes tonight.
Oh. Wait. Really? He made a ham and she made the potatoes like he taught. Checked. I feel like she should know it, right? If she. A grin is back on her face when she leaves and closes the door behind her. For a little while after we're left alone, Ash goes wholly quiet, listening, waiting for her remaining footsteps in the hall to fade. The early amusement is gone from his face, replaced by what I can only describe as trepidation? I know that look all too well. When he's like this, he's expecting shit about to go down at some point.
That wasn't very nice, Ash. What was that with Isabella earlier? You're usually subtler with your questions.
They hired you.
Oh?
Hired me who? Don't change the subject yet. What's really going on here?
The Wrights. Luke and Hannah Wright. You said your next gig is with them.
Is that what this is all about?
Just be careful around them. You have no idea what you're dealing with when it comes to that couple.
Yeah, there is something with Luke. I'm not so completely wrong, and I knew you were investigating them. I knew it. With Hannah there, I almost... You hiding yourself good from them, not from everyone else, not your friends. Your friends realize you're following them, but Hannah didn't really say that, yeah.
I'd rather you stay as far away from them as possible, but you're already here. Isabella's their real estate agent. Seriously, of all the people in Luxburn.
Okay. I guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
He nods, claps a comforting hand on my back and turns to leave without another word. He's never been good with those. More often he fumbles with what he wants to say, but his action alone are enough to tell me how grateful he is for the trust. He reaches for the knob as soon as he gets to the door, but doesn't turn it. Instead, he looks back and gestures with his head toward the table. I don't need to follow his line of sight to know what he's going to ask about. He's slightly taken notice of it the moment he entered the room.
You back on those? I haven't seen you taking them in a year.
Yeah, I kinda had to. It got worse after the film fest. The dreams, that is.
Oh. So because they were recent or mean to you, it went bad.
I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
Heard about that. Don't drop it, though. You don't want Becca scolding you. She actually enjoyed the movie you made, and she's hard to please. Consider that a small victory.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me. She already did.
Yeah.
Rebecca and Bella both gave me an earful after I said the opposite. Promised them I wouldn't, but you can never tell.
I mean, well, as a school teacher, at least a class of children will have to watch it. Maybe many times. I guess maybe there was some racist. I don't know why I couldn't say that. That went on in the school or something. During my time there when I went to school, I'm not really sure about it or where, what, there, something. But we had to watch Remember the Titans a lot of times. Or was it? It was the one where they mixed the football team there, like allowed black into it also. Something like that. I don't remember it exactly. I remember that little girl that then grew up and her father was the coach and bricks into house and yeah, a lot of stuff. Right, he only became the second coach because they had a black coach now there instead. I'm surprised how little I remember about it because we had to see it a lot of times.
Hopefully, once I feel better, I'll be able to think about it properly. Speaking of Bella, she didn't open up to me, but maybe with you and Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll talk to her.
Yeah, she was... We didn't say much about the phone, like she was a little there we mentioned, but she was totally freaked out.
Thanks. That's all I'm asking.
A ghost is haunting her. This time, when he reached for the door, he lets it close fully behind him without glancing back. Oh. A mild draft sweeps into the room as I close the door behind him, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. Armor guard, that's... I remember now again. I always had to go with like, armor guard. Because apparently that's how they all pronounce it, like, armor guard mansion. Hey, right. 11 AM for luxury living. Armor guard, yeah. After Ashton's warning, they all hold a different meaning now. Oh. But the 26th, so this is the day after the Photoshop, right? So, he's gonna mention the way he saw a ghost through the camera? No? I don't know. The next 2 days, rushing by in a blur, altogether leaving a collective mess of work suddenly piling up and new unexpected acquaintances of friends. Yeah. Depending on how you look at it, really. Friends! Special friends! Either way, I'm stuck developing these photos at 3 in the morning to reach a deadline set by an overeager art director. And she's in a photo! Wonder if she'll appear in more photos, though. That would be strange. Don't get me wrong, Julius is good, has a vision and knows what he wants, but damn, he can be too enthusiastic sometimes.
Doesn't matter when you couldn't sleep anyway.
Yeah. Sometimes here in the game it goes a little too quick between that, like, oh, doesn't matter words. Like, yeah, you need to stop humming and then start talking, you know. There's nothing new in it, of course. After years of working as a freelancer photographer, it's simply something I've grown used to. Get to know people, build a client base, do good work and cash in some late hours if need be. Rinse and repeat. It sadly takes a while to get some footing on the field, but it's the kind of thing that pays off in the long run, as long as you keep at it. Given enough time, you might end up with big names on your client list, like Hannah Wright. Names like the Wrights in particular. I never did pay much attention to them, but it's virtually impossible not to hear about them when a local news channel or paper has something to say in their name. A party here, an quaint acquisition there. Sometimes it's new business venture, other times it's everyday gossip that typically follow popular people like them. Not in a million years did I ever imagine I would end up working for such a high-profile couple. And in between that and the fuss that comes with, it leaves me no time to ponder over whatever happened to Isabella, or why Ashton is so adamant we keep away from the pair.
They do seem like the good folk, though, despite the whole fame thing.
You weren't there when Lucas called you Negro, though. Or, yeah, he was like, "You were with that Negro?" Like, oh shit, Lucas! Lucas is racist. Sure, there was a rumor running around years ago about him being involved in some business scandal. But just like every gossip blown out of proportion by the media, nothing came of it. And eventually, it simply died down. Much is definitely left to be said for the husband, but I doubt a woman like Mrs. Wright would pick him if he doesn't have any good points at all. Miss Wright, Hannah, herself though. Oh. She ain't particularly bad the way the press makes her out to be. This one is safe. This isn't the one in front of the stairs. So, story up. The tabloids had it all wrong, that's for sure. What was the last one? Yeah, sack calling, pills, anything. What was nothing in the profile or timeline. It's the actual story that changed here, because for someone born with a silver spoon in her mouth, well, she ain't exactly what I was expecting. Among other things, the newfound friendship is what I least expect from her. But here we are. Although with a leaf as public as the Wrights, no wonder it's the woman who often gets the crappy end of the stick. I can't help but feel sorry for her. She's a real nice person when given the chance. Heck, she might have even ended up friends with Rebecca and Isabella too if they weren't living worlds apart. She's friend with Rebecca! Didn't you know? Probably. I was already getting like ready to. I'm probably gonna get scared soon because of the photo. There's gonna be the photo of her there. And suddenly she started beeping there like, no, why? I guess most in horror game and even more so in this one, because this is pretty tame, really more story and like, yeah, go along, easy, nothing to worry about. No? There. So mostly it's in my head that I'm expecting something bad to happen. Like, oh, nothing happened actually. The babe quickly pulls me back before my thoughts travel any further though. In one practice motion I carefully place the wet print I'm holding on a drying rack and amble over my makeshift darkroom to get the last photos from the water bath. Inside the converted broom closet, the film processor lets out another soft clack before going on its standby mode. At its mouth a lone photograph sits on the tray, barely visible with a lack of light. It's the last one tonight for the set Miss Wright requested. The one with the ghost in it. I don't usually make this a habit, giving away stuff that is. It's bad for the business, no matter how well intentioned or generous you are. I mean, it's a super famous, super rich person that has shown to give a very large bonus there to get things done quickly, and maybe you have a good time having her on your side. This exception, however, she did treat me well and was a pleasant companion all through the shot. Yep, that's me, did. Even if she didn't ask, I would have probably given her a few prints just for the hell of it. Miss Rain ain't such a bad subject matter to begin with. And maybe this is just me, but for someone who has everything at the palm of her hands, all the money in the world, a loving husband, and a plenty big mansion to call home, she's lonely. It's a little too big. She doesn't just appear like it. It shows in the tone of her voice, how she moves, and most certainly in her smiles. Always hidden behind the glamour of the world to never see. Sometimes for people like her, small things like these helps. A little reminder that the world can be kind too. Water drips from the paper as I blindly pick it up and gently lay it on another tray, holding a decent amount of photo flow. I'm just waiting for it, I know it will come, it's nighttime even. A few seconds on the solution is all it needs before it's ready for drying. No good rushing this last one, even if my body is already screaming for some decent snooze. Just leave it, man, just leave it. My hands fumble for the light switch, moving toward it with familiarity, while I fish for a squeaky among the mess of tools on a drawer with other. The bulb flickers twice before it glows, settles, and casts a soft light in the tiny space. When I glance back down, squeaky in hand, ready to finish the process and finally call it a night, the ghost is there!
What on earth?
Yeah, it's this choking one, right? Oh, no? Her head is gone. No, not really. Blurred and distorted beyond recognition, rather. Yeah. The area completely smudged over, leaving no trace of the same sweet smile the good woman carried in all the previous prints. This shows of something that I mentioned before, how I watched, because I know there can be different endings and so I watch also chapters after I finish one chapter, I can watch another, and they had like it going very, very badly. And this reminds me a little of that. Maybe it went bad for me too anyway. Don't want that.
Damn, that was too careless.
Yeah. A common mistake to make, of course, if one is negligent enough to pick a newly processed photo in the dark, like I apparently did. It has happened before. Loads of times, actually. But I still can't help but feel a small pang of frustration over one mistake a newbie would likely make. With a sigh, I reach up for the switch again, intending to develop a new one from scratch.
It could pass off for one of those supernatural pictures they show on TV, though. A memory clicks one curve, so it caught in the sea of many, and a short yet distinct second from the day before. A glimpse is all I got, but it's enough to burn the image in my mind. There was a shadow. No. A woman. In her 20s or early 30s, maybe. But with how far gone her flesh alone has become, it's not possible to tell at first glance. The skin itself has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most part, blood dripping from every open gash and lesion on her body. Bony hands grip Miss right neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes.
Zachary?
Yeah? Not for me, but for Mrs. Wright.
Zach, is something the matter?
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the pictures.
Yeah, let's get back.
Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
The memory alone, yeah, is enough to make me rich. Does it? Where is it? Yeah. Some of Hannah's shots. Remember a chilling memory of yesterday's shot. Yeah. Which? No. Oh. It was only here. Oh, I guess they didn't really mention it then. I thought they did. Apparently not, because she only felt it as someone choking her. I brushed it off then. A trick of the eye, I told myself, or a product of the heat. The weather has been unexpectedly warm recently, so it shouldn't be too surprising for such things to happen, right? And Well, blaming this on the unusuals, fatigue and overworked brain, the weather, or an amateur error on my part, is far more convenient. It makes a whole lot of sense than what the small voice inside my head whispers. The same tiny voice that only makes itself known when something a fool, the same one that lent a curious ear to Isabella's worries about the mansion. And with each second I spent staring at this photograph, the murmurs in my head only grows louder against me, yes. Except everything went quiet. Oh. Someone has to know. Oh. We know he won't show Hannah it before the park though. Rather, it didn't affect anything, so I feel like we should show it to Ash. But he will just say like, it's nothing. She felt it then. Will it help her though? Ash will... But we need to make Ash believe. Otherwise he'll die, right? So we need to just pile everything to him there because he won't believe it. Others probably can believe things and such, but if we want Ash to live something good ending, I feel like maybe we need to pile things to him early on here, like everyone's like, no Ash, we need to hear this, you need to see this, you need to see this, and then like, there's too much evidence to say against it, right? We show it to Ash. Ash will give me a flack for this. He will. I can already hear what he's going to say about this the moment I bring it up. Hell, before he even sees anything, I'll wager. The guy is a skeptic through and through. It will take more than my account for him to even consider this. But when you've been there, seen something enough to raise the hairs at the back of your neck and leave you wanting to flee or hide, what he thinks is the least of my concerns. I am no hero. That's a title best reserved for someone else, like Ash. Still, if this helps him change his mind, it's worth a try. Oh, Isabella's gone and done the same thing, didn't she? Outside, the sun has yet to rise. I still got a few hours before dawn. Good enough time to mull over how I'll go about this with him. Plenty of space to check if I'll get the same result if I redo the process again. Why do you have to do it again? It's like, why? The film processor hums back to life at my touch. The light switch gives out a soft click, and darkness embraces the small closet again. No!
Somehow those urban legends don't sound so silly now.
No! Why do you have to change view? Why? Do I need to be ready for QT again? But no! Oh! Oh! I'm so relieved. Nothing happened. I'm still like freaking out. It went dark. I thought we were gonna be in the closet and she was gonna be there and something else. Maybe I need a break or something. Something. Or maybe a stand. Last time we did a letter here, I did it there for 4 hours, and in the end I was getting hoarse and then even got sick for some days, so maybe just a little. I mean, 1.5 hours, that's... Okay, it's a short movie these days. Once upon a time that was the feature movie. And people won't focus any longer than that, right? So maybe leave you here now with that? Yeah, unless anyone has anything against it. I can end it now, otherwise we do an hour. Yeah, 10 seconds from now. Or something like that. No one's saying anything, no one's listening, no one cares. Yeah. Okay, so let's end it for now then, I think. And we come back another day, just starting slowly again and not just doing long thing and expecting every day I need to do the long things. Okay? So, have a good time. Goodbye, everyone. Bye bye.